Hello, and thank you everyone for joining us today at our live webinar hosted by NetSol Technologies. My name's Aisha Ellis-Aziz, and this is my colleague Chris Tovey, who's the Global Sales Director at NetSol Technologies. And today we're joined by Cameron Khalid, NetSol's Chief Product Officer, who will be our speaker for the session. With over 15 years of diverse professional experience in the technology industry, Cameron excels in product management, consulting, business analysis, pre-sales, and key account management. At NetSol, he's not only designed enterprise-level solutions, but has also effectively managed businesses and development teams for various projects and products. Hi, Cameron. How are you? And thank you very much for taking the time out for the session today.
Thanks, Aisha. I'm very well and looking forward for the presentation today.
Today, Cameron will be talking about the technological advancements impacting the finance and leasing landscape. Moreover, he will specifically provide his insights into the API-first approach and why financial services institutions need to adopt this strategy to future-proof their businesses. I'm also pleased to announce that NetSol Technologies is launching the world's first finance and leasing API marketplace, Apex Now. The marketplace will consist of a wide range of products, ranging from a calculation engine to an API-driven order management system. Flex is the first offering from Apex Now, a cloud-based calculation engine, which can be integrated with all front ends, and it provides comprehensive solutions for leasing, fleet financing, or installment credit businesses. Cameron, can you please brief us on how the finance and leasing industry will evolve with the upcoming technologies and how NetSol is providing solutions?
Thank you, Chris. So we all talk about digital transformation and with the different kind of perspective, and that perspective varies from one person to another one. And the idea behind digital transformation drives the innovation and other applicability of those applications and all. So before we start our presentation, we wanted to get some kind of feedback from the audience that what do you guys feel in terms of digital transformation, that what does that translates into your company's objectives? So you can, it's a live poll in the interactions section on the right top corner, just beside the chat. You can go into that section and give your feedback there. You can select the right option. There are different options given into that, and it's a 30-second poll, so we can get that feedback before we get into the actual presentation. So we are getting results there, and it's about 56% mentioned about development of newer and better business models, 21% on the customer experience, and 26% on the agility side of it. And so why this question? The reason is that whenever we talk about digital transformation, the definition varies. Either we are talking about launching a new business process, we are talking about fixing an existing process or enhancing or making that efficient, or we're talking about just upgrading the technology from obsolete to newer technology and all, or we are talking about revamping the whole ecosystem. So what are we? What do we mean in terms of digital transformation? So that's why it's very important that how we see the digital transformation, and specifically how it is linked with our current ecosystem in the finance and leasing industry, and how it can help in terms of the asset financing applications in this lending industry. Before we get into the digital transformation piece, looking at the overall market overview, the global leasing market size is £1,180 billion. And that's based on World Leasing Yearbook till 2021. And looking at the graph, it shows promising results even after COVID. Things are picking up. Out of this number, about 30%, actually more than that, is contributed through European region. And out of that, like 2/3 is contributed by UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Russia. So these are the numbers. This just shows that the growth in the lending market which we are seeing. But at the same time, how vendors or solution providers or technology-related stakeholders see the digital transformation, if I try to explain that in a bird's eye view. So we divide it into 3 different eras: pre-digital, digital 1.0, digital 2.0. Pre-digital was the era when the emphasis was on the ERPs, on the packaged softwares, large systems covering end-to-end aspects, and that's how these monolithic architectures were also being used within the ecosystem of these organizations. And moving out from pre-digital to digital 1.0, everybody was rushing towards the integrations with SMAC, which is your social, mobile, analytics, and cloud. And with that integration, the customer experience was left behind. But in the digital 2.0, which we see that today and the need of the tomorrow is that we are talking about more distributed platforms, where Web 3.0, Metaverse, unified customer experience coming in, where the applications related to artificial intelligence, SaaS-driven products, API-first, cloud-native, headless architectures, microservices, all of the combination of these different aspects are required and to build that whole ecosystem. So that's the bird's eye view, which we see from a solution provider perspective. So we talked about digital transformation, that how anyone sees and how it varies from one person to another person, one organization to another organization. But the need is pretty much common across the industry. So if we talk about the banking of yesterday and banking of tomorrow, just a difference at the selling side or at the front office side. There was a front office for the sales perspective, for the lead generation and all. Now we are talking about multiple channels. We're talking about omni channels. We're talking about going direct to consumer and all. There was a case study about Bank of America. It took them about 10 years to gain 1 million online customers. And a decade back, it was affordable. But now, when we see Gen Z and fast-paced behavioral changes, market changes, technological changes and all, so organizations like N26, another digital bank, took the same amount of time like Bank of America, about 9 years, but they gained more than 8 million online users. So looking at these type of trends, thinking about banking of tomorrow, everybody is now spending more to enhance the customer experience. The additional budgets are allocated, like from 25% to 46% increase in the budget has been noticed. And and why we have to spend that much, why that budget has to increase that much, because everybody is focused on the customer experience side without looking into the underlying architecture, because underlying architectures are still coming from the previous eras of digital transformation. And so that is basically allowing to change, but change with the higher cost and all. Similarly, if we see other impacts, like for impacts of other technologies, like when we see the sizes of SaaS-based products, API-first products, AI, ML, that the growth rates are varying between 20 to 25%. And with that kind of growth, we can see the scope and the technological advancements which are going to hit the financial industry, lending industry as well. One of the case studies we were seeing and what we studied there was just in the first half of 2022, it was about 90 billion pounds investment was being raised by fintechs. But at the same time, roughly about 4 trillion pound loss has been faced by these traditional financial institutions, as per Goldman Sachs. So fintechs are the biggest threat for these for the organizations, for the traditional financial systems. And we can talk about this, that why it is easy for fintechs and all. So we can cover these aspects as well. But looking at the technological advancements, the sizes of the industry for these different technologies, and utilization of that by the fintechs to capture the pie size of this whole market is basically disrupting the market for these traditional financial institutions. So before we move forward, this is another poll, live poll, that's about the key considerations while taking on digital transformation initiatives. So how do you guys think about it? So that poll is also there in interactions section for your feedback. So this will also give a good view in terms of that how what kind of key considerations you think that should be considered on digital transformation initiatives. Let's take a few seconds to get the results of this poll as well before we move forward to the So after 30 seconds, now we got about, so these considerations were time to market, optimized customer experience, and future proofing. And there is no surprise there that all three of these are quite important. And so we can see like 38, 33, and 30% weightage has been given to these different aspects. So all three of them are quite important to consider while doing the digital transformation. So let's move forward. If we talk about the size of global financial services software market, so the growth rate is about 9.1%. And one of the case studies being done by PwC, it was the fact was shared like 81% of banking CEOs are concerned about the speed of the technological advancements. And the reason why is that? So that is right in the middle. We're talking about the timing. So when we see an ecosystem, within that ecosystem, there are core systems running in there. And when somebody decides about replacements of those core systems, the whole process, starting from the decisioning phase, it takes like the steps are like hiring a consultant who helps you to define an RFI. And based on that RFI, these organizations needs to filter down some of the vendors there. And then an RFP process gets to run. A few months are required to do that. And then after that, POCs and demos and all those different stages for the aspects related to beauty contest, I would say, to select the right vendor. And then the negotiations, pricing, contracting, and all those aspects. And then starts the requirements phase. Another few months are required there. And then after that, the development and configurations, UAT cycles, and implementation cycles keep going on. Or at an average, it takes like 2 to 5 year long cycle to replace the whole core solution within the ecosystem. And so after completing this process, do you feel that you have achieved the objectives of the digital transformation which were being set 3 years back? Because during these 3 years, with the amount of changes coming in from the technology perspective, with the kind of changes we are seeing in the market and the behavior of the users and consumer, maybe the objectives needs to be changed now. Maybe we need more agile kind of approach, because those digital transformation objectives may have been achieved with this whole 2 to 5 year long cycle. But at this stage today, we are digitally transformed or not? Maybe we cannot say that. But are you ready to take another cycle of 2 to 5 years long to go through the digital transformation process again? I don't think so, because it's quite a painful process and quite expensive as well. So that's where I think this study of PwC also refers, where 81% CEOs are concerned about the speed of technological advancements. So time to market is quite important there. Another case study by McKinsey, where they explained that delay in the launches, if a product is late like 6 months, so it earns 33% lower profits. Whereas at the same time, if it is delivered on time, even if the budget was 50% above, the profit only decreases by 3.5%. And the reasons they have mentioned about fast-tracking digital service design and build was around trust, audience, and personalization, because nowadays 51% of the consumers expect that banks should anticipate their needs. And also looking at the audience like millennials and Gen Zs, they would like to use digital channels. And at the same time, if we see a lot of these millennials and Gen Zs would like to use non-traditional banks or financial institutions like Amazon, Apple, Stripe, PayPal, and all. So that's the trend we're talking about. And if we think on the lines of time to market, so we get a better view on these aspects. And this is where the intelligent implementation or smarter approaches needs to come in, where flexible IT architectures may be required, and quick features, service updates, and long-term sustainability is required, and how the scalability and ease of maintenance can be considered while doing this whole transformation cycle there. So what should be the way forward? So these were different aspects we've seen. So how we should be evaluating in terms of way forward and all. There are different frameworks. If we see frameworks of driving innovation, we talk about cost effectiveness, we talk about speed to market, we talk about flexible architecture. So let's say cost effectiveness. So when we talk about the cost effectiveness piece, pay as you go or usage-based pricing, having a cloud application where your infrastructure cost is moved to the cloud. So you do not have to carry huge size infrastructure within your premises and keep enhancing for the scalability and all. Cloud manages that. Serverless architectures managing those things, automatically scale up and scale down based on the volumes and all. And at the same time, based on these SaaS products, you can achieve that usage-based pricing models and all. But at the same time, when we talk about having flexible architecture, you do not, if you need to focus on a particular aspect, like for example, if you need to focus on the customer experience, or you need to focus on calculations, or you need to focus on workflow, or a particular business process there. So in that case, that particular component needs to be upgraded. That particular component needs to be enhanced in a way, instead of the whole core solution there. So that's where the component-based approach comes in. And in terms of speed to market, in terms of customer experience, in terms of having flexibility to be able to utilize these components in your own way, that's where your API first architectures comes in. So these are different aspects around the innovation framework, which we see for the finance and lease market. What are API first products? This is a very important concept to explain. These are product centric API first products, solutions. These are discrete products which are solving specific problems. For example, let's talk about Auth0. Auth0 is a single service which is solving the problems of authentication or authorization. And it's not, it does not do anything else, just specifically authentication problems are being solved by Auth0. And that service was acquired by Okta, and they just provide that particular service through Auth0. And it was the acquisition was about $6.5 billion. Similarly, Stripe, solving the problems of payment. It's a payment gateway and provides, started with the payment platform there, and specifically working on that area and nothing else. So that's how these discrete products are offered as API first. And you can use these independent API first solutions and offload your low value, time consuming components, because payments are required, authorization, authentication is required. Similarly, there are other aspects like verifications, KYCs. These are all those different elements which will be required no matter what kind of business line you are going to deploy or you are going to run. So these low value and time consuming components can be offloaded in terms of application development, and you can focus your efforts and time on those areas where more specific aspects are required, like your customer journey, like your secret sauce applicabilities, and all those areas where you can focus on and you can enhance those aspects there. Then again, based on that, product-led growth is the strategy which is being used by these API-first products. And this whole strategy depicts about self-sellable, self-deployable, out-of-the-box, where product explains its values on its own rather than somebody explaining these aspects there. And so that's the whole methodology. That's the whole strategy which is being followed by these API first products. So one topic was about API first, and the other one is the component based ecosystem. So building that component based ecosystem is like something like you should think of a Lego architecture, a Lego in front of you. So within that Lego piece, you have these independent modules. Like each independent module is a micro software, you can say, or you can talk about it as an independent component, which is valuable, which provides discrete solution as its own. But when these Lego pieces put together in an ecosystem, it covers end-to-end lending aspects or leasing aspects or any other business line there. So with that kind of approach, you have the agility, speed to market you can achieve. Like, for example, if I would like to launch a quoting module directly for the consumers to be able to do that. So focus will be on that particular piece rather than worrying about the credit side, worrying about the journeys, worrying about workflows, accounting, and so on. I can just simply focus on that one component. So similarly, we can look into reduction of cost. Like I do not have to replace the whole solution or core system, just focus on that one component. Similarly, reusability comes in, independence comes in, because all these independent Lego pieces can run and can provide value independently, and then with that, your existing ecosystem stays there, but you just replace one piece with that one Lego piece and then keep bringing in more components there. And PFC, personal finance company, they have taken the same approach and replaced their whole backend system within just 5 months. So combining all these different aspects about API first, SaaS solutions, component-based approach, these Lego architectures are providing us agility, reusability, replaceability. You can replace those, independence, but at the same time, offering those as an API first, you can still use, like, for example, journey as a service concept. Like you can use your existing front ends, which your consumers are using, your brokers are using, or your users are already trained on. You don't want to replace those. You have spent so much effort to find the right experience for them. So you can connect these APIs as a backend architecture can be replaced there. But at the same time, you have the flexibility to design your new journey, customer journey as well, your new front end as well on top of that. Because of the API first approach, you do not have to rely on the front ends coming along with these independent components there. So, and that also gives you integration related flexibilities. It provides, it saves a lot of time in terms of automation, because you just need to focus on that one particular aspect there. These are cost efficient, and at the same time, you have the opportunities in terms of product development. Also, you can build the whole ecosystem by exposing those APIs to your partners, so that they can also build different types of services, different types of products on top of these API first solution. And one of the good examples is BRI. It's a tier 1 bank in Indonesia. So they have used the same approach and reduced their loan approval and disbursement cycle from 2 weeks to 2 minutes. And similarly, 6 months to 1 hour was their agent onboarding time. But they started with that approach. But now they are offering all these APIs. They have created that marketplace for their partners to create that ecosystem where these partners are also utilizing these APIs of API first solutions of BRI. So that was the approach that brings and that opens more opportunities to collaborate with other stakeholders and players in the market. But at the same time, organizations like N26, with the similar kind of API first approach, it took them like from 2016 to 2020, they moved from 200,000 to 5 million online customers, and now more than 8 million, and moving from 1 country to 25 countries in just 5-6 years. So that's that kind of growth and scalability we are seeing by the organizations using these different approaches. Yep, there's another poll, live interaction. We just wanted to get your feedback on what is your preferred digital transformation approach, by just understanding the aspects we just explained. So that's the poll. We will take another 30 seconds on this and then move on to the next one. Because I think this time now we have 2 live polls back to back. So to get your feedback on those. There we are. So we are seeing independent component-based architectures. About 79% would like to go with that, and 20% still would like to stay with the packaged products. And our next poll is about the pricing models. That how do you see that these pricing models work? Because now the one is the independent component-based architecture, but at the same time pricing, because when you are going with long cycle of, like when you're doing pre-sales, or you're 6 months to a year long cycle of pre-sales, and then after that having the implementation cycles, you are already spending so much cost in the pre-sale cycle and during the implementation cycles, and then paying licenses and all. But with the component-based approach, you have the luxury to just try and test it. And with the SaaS approach, usage-based pricing, you do not have to bind yourself with the big license fees and all. So there you go. Everybody would like to go with this usage-based SaaS pricing. So that's the way to move forward in terms of overall pricing methodologies with the component-based. So coming to the Apex Now, which Chris was mentioning also, we provide, we are using the component-based architecture, these Lego pieces, and which helps the organizations to build their own architecture. So you can design your own architecture, that how our ecosystem should look like. And like, for example, you're seeing these different boxes here. These are all independent, discrete products solving specific problems. Like Flex is focused just on the financial calculation side. So any kind of financial calculations happening throughout the lending business process, like whether it is we're talking about initiation, booking, in-life modifications, or different types of like return processes, early terminations, amortizations, accounting, and all these aspects are covered from the financial calculation perspective by Flex. Tax Engine is more specifically solving problems related to tax there. Index is master data as a service, which is providing, like, you can configure your financial products, your campaigns, your rate cards, pricing matrices, different aspects related to your interest rates, commission rates, and subventions, and all those programs. All these type of things, plus your asset inventories, F&I products, your broker profiles, you can configure. Complete master data solution is given through Index, so you can plug in that there. HubX is more about integrating your service, third parties. Like when you need the ecosystem of third parties for KYC, for fraud check, for ID verification, for payment platform, and all those different partners you want to connect with, you do not have to go through each one separately. You just subscribe HubX there, and the HubX is coming with out-of-the-box connectivity available there. Just connect with HubX and you will get that ecosystem of third parties available for you. Templex, another satellite product for documentations, for printing of those documentation, for contracting, digital signatures, and all those different aspects. So any system in your ecosystem, any product can call this for document printing for your collection related, invoicing, your letters, notices, all these things can be generated there. Dealex is purely focused on the origination side, like in case of, you can launch it for your brokers, so brokers can use it. You can connect it with your existing journey of brokers, like whatever the front end your brokers are using, you can use Dealex by connecting it with the same front end journey, or you can build the journey on top of it, or you can use the available micro front ends to connect with these and use that. So each of this product can work independently. Like Dealex can work independently and use the calculation engine of your ecosystem. master data of your ecosystem, it can do that. But if somebody would like to go for bundles, would like to have a more complete view, so these Lego pieces can be put together so that you can have a complete value proposition. Like, for example, somebody want to launch a pricing engine, they can subscribe to Flex, Index, and tax side of it. If somebody would like to launch a complete origination tool for your brokers, or mobility solution for your brokers, or then all of these different services can be subscribed. Or if somebody wants to go for a complete digital retailing for direct to consumer view, so your consumers can originate different type of applications, so that customer app can also be consumed, can also be subscribed and launched there, so that those bundles can also be provided through Apex Now. This gives you a broader view of each of these products and what is being offered and all. The purpose of this was to show that if you want to launch a business line, for example, digital retailing or subscription or leasing for trucks or for equipment for medical side of it or agriculture, so that business line can consume these tools, and you can, like, for example, for digital retail, you just need to subscribe to these specific APIs there, or these specific independent components there, to connect them within your ecosystem and start running the business of digital retail use case. You do not have to get the whole package to launch a new business there. So that's where the flexibility comes in. If you want to launch a credit underwriting piece, so these are the specific APIs you can consume and start using those for the business of credit underwriting. One of the top 3 dealership groups in the US, they are using these, they are building their product, they're launching their product. The whole process ecosystem you're seeing on the right side, asset selection, pricing, customer onboarding, asset handover, billing, payment, analytics, return process. The complete process is basically mapped onto these different Lego components. They're consuming these as part of their ecosystem and running the whole business using this approach. Flex, just to explain, I talked about it, that it covers end-to-end life cycle. It covers different types of calculations. It provides how your VAT deferrals work, amortization works, accounting related amortization, income postings, different methods to calculate rental, repayment schedules, breakups, and all these different aspects are covered. And it's a single service. It's a low-code service which can be easily connected within the ecosystem. One common service which can solve the problem of discrepancies when you move from front end to back office. Your numbers get changed. What you are telling to your customers, what you are getting calculated at your back office are sometimes different. So you can have this one single component connected within your ecosystem. And how to subscribe that the subscription is completely online. You can go straight away www.flexengine.io. You can subscribe for free trial run, and you will get access in 2 manners. One for the developer access, where developers can hit these endpoints using Postman collections and all. Complete documentation is available for them. And if you are a business user, you can go to the playground of Flex, and you can play with different numbers by just providing input parameters and start playing with these numbers and validating if your numbers, the numbers which you would like or your use cases are fulfilled by Flex. And the journey is completely online. And that's how it is being offered. And this is how all of these different API first independent component SaaS products provided through the cloud. And in terms of the value proposition, it can be connected with the multiple systems within your ecosystem, or just with one. It depends at how you would like to use the product. Just as a case study, one of its user, European Merchant Bank. So this is another digital branchless bank, and they are using it. They had the problem of their sales team were worried that what numbers they are producing for their end customer were not matching with the back office applications, and those discrepancies were creating a lot of frustration and issues. So they came up with their use cases. They did the trial run. They ran those use cases online and got the required results there, and they subscribed using their credit card, completely online digital journey. And based on that, they are using right now. And not only their sales teams are using it, but also their back office numbers are also being fed through this. So that's about it, the overall presentation for today. Now I think we can move into the Q&A section.
Yeah, thank you, Cameron, for a very interesting presentation. So we'll be sharing a recording of the webinar along with a follow-up email and a contact form in case anyone would like to get in touch with Cameron directly. But for now, we're going to open the public chat in case anyone has any queries or questions, which I'm sure Cameron will be very happy to answer. So I've got one from Martin. Hi, Cameron, great webinar. Just one question. Do the older technologies limit adoption to your approach?
That's a good question, and we get to hear that a lot. The simple answer is no. So there is no issue in terms of older technology. Any technology can consume these products. That's the beauty of these products. So that's how we call them headless. So it does not matter that which technology is consuming these API first products. So any technology can work with that.
Yeah, a question also from Awais. How can organizations ensure the security of their data and systems as they move to the cloud and adopt new technologies?
Another good question. So it varies from product to product. Some of the products do not even save data there. If I talk about Flex is pure calculation engine. It does not store any data. And it takes the input parameters, do the calculations, and return those results straight away as a response to the calling systems there, so that they can save their data on their premises or wherever they are managing that. On the other side, there are products which are managing those data-related aspects, and there are different aspects related to that data, whether it's related to GDPR, whether it's related to PII for the encryption and all, whether these are the cybersecurity related aspects around cloud, or otherwise there are different types of tools which are helping us to secure that data related aspect also. And data policy varies from client to client and region to region. And when we launch a product, we launch based on the regulatory, data related, legal aspects covered for that product for that particular region. And then we move from one region to another region.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? We've got one from Elliot. What if my company requires a specific customization, and how flexible do you think this approach is in fulfilling such requirements?
Yeah, that's another good question. Yes, see, on one side, these products need to be utilized as is like covering maximum aspects related to that that problem which these products are solving, as an out-of-the-box solution needs to be consumed. But still, because the finance and leasing industry is quite versatile and everybody has different type of specific requirements, so we provide orchestration layers around these products, and those orchestration layers allow our customers to be able to define and to be able to configure those specific aspects on those orchestration layer, that how the communication would work with those APIs. And even then, beyond that API, they can also build their own specific requirements as well by themselves, through another third party, or through the professional services. So that option is there on top of orchestration layer. Initially, we see that a lot of those requirements are covered through the orchestration layers sitting on top of these APIs.
There's another question. What are some of the biggest challenges organizations face when it comes to implementing AI in their cybersecurity practices? And how can they overcome these challenges?
This is an area where a lot of organizations are researching these days, and especially when we see tools like ChatGPT and others coming in, and we are all exploring use cases also. I see the major challenges with AI right now is that how to define a use case and how to link that use case with the data itself, because the neatness of data is quite crucial. One side is the cybersecurity side of it, but on the other side, the neatness of that data also, because when you are relying your decisions on AI, and AI is relying on that data, and that data needs to be taken care of very carefully. And whether it's about the cleanliness of data or the security side of it. So that's where the work and research is still going on, and it's an evolutionary process. We'll continue to do.
Thanks.
We've got one from Hannah. What if I want to use an individual component only? Does it have a front end, or do I need to develop my own UI?
So when we say API first, it does not mean these are just APIs. I mean, our approach is API first. Our approach is going headless with the headless architecture, but we do provide micro front ends on top of these APIs. But we are not limiting our users or our subscribers for that one front end, one type of front end, because we see when we work across the globe in last 30 years, we have seen requirements on the front end side are different from one client to another client, even within one region, even for one same business. So we have seen a lot of differences there. So to avoid that part, to reduce the changes on that aspect, we keep it separate. So you can use the front end, which is coming along with the product. But if you don't want to do that, you want to use your existing front end, or you want to build your customized front end, you can do that also. And that will not have any kind of impacts on the overall API first solution. That's why we call it as API first.
Do you have any other questions? Oh, that's a couple that have just come through. Do you want to do that one?
Yeah, this is a rather new approach. How are you as a company making sure to keep incorporating user feedback in your product and services, or in our product and services? Yeah,
that's something. So roadmaps were there even in the previous approaches as well, previous products as well. People were incorporating. We are using those traditional approaches of roadmaps and incorporating different types of regulatory aspects, different types of technological advancements coming in as part of roadmap. But the key focus is to get the user feedback. One is the direct feedback, and the other one is the getting insights in terms of based on the user behavior, performing A/B testing, performing the analytical aspects around the product, so that that feedback gets back into the funnel of the product prioritization, so that we can keep enhancing and adding in there. And we provide feedback features along with these products for our users, so that not only the customer, but the user of the customer should be able to give direct feedback on different features. And based on that, we can improve the product continuously, because our focus is not on doing customized aspects for each individual. Our focus is to invest on the product side, so that from the broader usage perspective, we can handle the larger market in terms of the product enhancement. So we take such feedback as part of our product investment.
Thank you.
There's another question. What is the future of AI in cybersecurity, and what technological advancements can we expect to see in the next 5 to 10 years?
Once again, this, as I mentioned about AI and cybersecurity, is an open area, and it will continue. But I don't want to talk about next 5 to 10 years. I think we should be talking about next 2 years, because the kind of speed we are seeing, kind of competition we are seeing between these in Fang to Mang and all. So these are all. So everybody wants to go one step ahead from the others. So I think the technological advancements will be, very fast. But if I see AI and cybersecurity in terms of in the light of finance and leasing industry part of it, the adoption will be related to the use cases and the management of the data. So we will not strategize our data strategy. If we will not do that now, then it will be more difficult for us to cope up with these new advancements on AI and cybersecurity side of it. And if we simplify our data strategy today, we will be able to be in a better position to utilize these AI-related aspects in coming next 1 to 2 years.
Thanks, Ken. Should we do the last question?
Yeah, can do. What's the average implementation timeline if we want to integrate Flex or any of the other individual services you mentioned into our systems?
So I can answer in two steps. One is that the onboarding experience our customer takes on Flex is less than 5 minutes, I would say. You can simply online, you can go, you can use your credit card, you can subscribe there, and there you have a dashboard and you can start using document and all. But at the same time, you have the aspect related to connecting with your internal system. It does not take more than few hours to connect within your ecosystem, depending upon your the complexity of your front-end system. But at the same time, we are providing code snippets. Those snippets we are providing as part of the subscription, as part of our documentation. You can copy those snippets to paste into your script, and there you go. The integration piece will work straight away.
Brilliant. Thank you, Cameron.
Yes, and thanks everyone for joining us. We hope the session was helpful and provided you with a good insight into why adopting an API-first approach is a good idea moving forward. As a quick reminder, NetSol Technologies is launching the world's first API marketplace for finance and leasing industry, with Flex being the first component in this line of products. Once again, thank you everyone for joining us today, and we hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.